just been filming Matty. It's just gone again. Just been filming him, trying to get some good shots of the 850. Just gone over that bridge and grounded out. Jesus, I want to see what he's going to say. He just said, I'm not going to do anything stupid. Not going to do anything stupid because I'm going to Nuremberg in this thing. Don't want to wreck it before I go. There he is, taking off over the fucking bridge. Oh, let's see what he says. You alright, mate? You trying to ruin the car?
Poor old thing.
You said I'm not going to do anything fucking stupid.
I know, but I was born stupid, wasn't I? So I thought it'd be funny to, because like,
Stick to God, mate.
Maybe slightly on the speed limit, shall we say, to get it to take off there. Yeah, it was quite a big bang when it landed.
Yeah, I think it was only a front splitter though. So.
Is it still on?
Yeah, it's still on. It's only a front splitter. I saw a little tiny. I showed a video.
I did wonder if it was actually still going to be on there.
Oh, fucking brilliant. Anyway.
Oh well. So you see, pigs can fly, so can shit cars. The old Volvo, giving it a wash, and it's got its team dynamics on. Look at it. I might have to lower it a bit further at the front now. See, I've only just put them on, so it's just come down off the jack and then I washed it. So it might settle a little bit at the front, but if not, I might have to lower it a bit further. Like, does it things as it is? It doesn't look right, does it? And I've got adjustable top mounts on it, so we can always stick a bit of camber in if it looks like it's going to hit the arches. So we'll have a little look at that after I've been up the road, but no bumpers hanging off. Look at the new exhaustible pipe. I've got a little tailpipe made for him, so I've got back box and tailpipe. So it's no longer melting itself to death, eating its own bumper. So I think I've got a little aerial, it's not actually an aerial, I've got a little magnetic aerial to go on the roof, because if you look at the old Supertourers, there's a little aerial in the middle of the roof. I'm actually on my third or fourth one, because it turns out that at a certain speed, shall we say slightly above 70, it blows off the magnetic one, so I'm going to have to stick it on this time. And yeah, I have done it like 3 times, but never mind, I am stupid. But yeah, I think the old beast is pretty much ready, so I'm going to have a clear out the inside, give it a good old clean up, and then she's just chilling with her awesome power and awesome look. Right, I've got my team dynamics on the Super Ovalova, but with them I've put the Nankang NS2Rs on it, which are, I guess they are a semi-slick. They're not like a really slick semi-slick. They're kind of a very road biased semi-slick, if you like. But designed, you know, so you can do track day, drive turn one track, but not as extreme as like an AR1 or an R888 or anything. So I'm hoping, because after this car's on coilovers, but it still felt dreadful, really kind of springy and just nasty. But the tyres it had on it were just ditch finders, like things you'd never even heard of all round. And really kind of spongy, funny feeling rubber tyre walls, you know, so I think there's a lot of bouncing around on the tyre. So I'm hoping that me NS2Rs are going to actually stiffen it up a bit with the stiffer tyre walls. And I'm also hoping it's actually dry at the minute, which, considering it's January 31st in fact, is first time for ages. So they might need a bit of heat in them is the only thing to work, but I was going to have a little see if A, if the car feels a bit better, and B, if the acceleration might be a bit better, because it might not wheel spin so bad. But I'm going to get down into a little bit of dual carriageway, and if there's not anything about, I'll have a little go and see if we've improved him even more. Just got to me a little bit of dual carriageway, and would you believe it? The old Suffolk Scammer van sat there, sat in the middle of it, catch people speeding. Obviously, I'd never be. then speed up and down, so to speak. So I'm gonna have to go a little uphill. I won't actually speed, I don't think, but it's probably not wise to start banging around past them, is it? They'll upset them. So I'm trying a little uphill bit of dual carriageway, which might obviously affect my amazing performance figures. So I'm now actually sat at traffic lights, about to see how fast I can accelerate off, which I don't reckon I've done for about 20 or 30 years. So we'll see. Boy racing off tonight. Oh, there they go. Right, so we're off. Oh, wheels are in. And 60. I think that was considerably quicker than we've done it before, wasn't it? I reckon actually got a bit of grip, span to begin with, but then took off quite well. High performance car, this. Just finding a bit of camber. We've got our nice Team Dynamic wheels on. Got very little clearance here. I don't think it is catching, but it's bloody close. And really, I want it a bit lower because there's far too much tyre. You know, on the actual Tourers, the arch came down well over the wheel. They haven't tucked right in, but they run a lot of camber. Like the rear one's tucked in, but even that's not far. And that is just catching as you go over bumps fast, but we'll see. But yeah, the front's far too high. So I'm going to wind a bit of camber on, which we've done over here, because these are adjustable top mounts, so you literally have got, take that out of the way, these 4 bolts here that are holding the top of the shock. And if you imagine, if you loosen them off, you push them in, and that cambers the wheel, so the top of the wheel goes in. Race cars always run a load of camber because then you sit on the fat bit of the tyre when you're in the corner. It makes them worse on the road, makes them quite tramliney because then you're sitting on the inside of the tyre and they wear the tyres out faster. But I've done this side, as you can see, we've gone, so these on 2 marks across there, and that's actually right at the end now. So we're just going to do the same with that one. See what it looks like. I've wound them on as much camber as I can with the bolts where they are at the minute. So it's not enough because you can't see it. It probably is enough, but I don't think. Can you do front look? Can you see? I want it to sit like a race car, don't I? So what we can do is actually take those inner bolts out because they're now butting up against there, but we can take them out, move them to the next one and then go a bit further. I think that's what we'll do, eh? Quite a long way now. So the top of this removed all the way across there, and these, we'll get to move those bolts there in a bit to keep going. So we should have a bit of camber now, shouldn't we? Sure. It's not like much, but we'll take it for a little drive. See if it moves, settles in. Guys, so I've done my camber. Well, I think I'm going to have to go even more. I adjusted them where you saw yesterday. I moved the bolts in and adjusted them in, and it still doesn't look like it's got a lot of camber to me, not like race car camber, but it has made the steering feel a bit more positive, quite a bit heavier, which I wasn't really sure if it would, but it's not all tramline and everything. And as I was driving it home, this made me think I haven't actually talked about driving this car, have I, at all? And if we're going to get into, you know, I want to get into driving some other cars and chatting to you guys about the stuff we're driving. And we've had the M4 on track, but other than that, we haven't really done any driving stuff. So I just thought I'd let you know a little bit about driving this car. So as you know, this is an 850 CD. So originally it was just the T5 engine, so 227 horses it turns out, on just totally stock Volvo chassis, which is, let's face it, shite. I didn't drive it much totally stock because I put the coilovers on it quite quickly. So as you might also remember, it's got BC coilovers, it's fully polybushed, all the engine mounts polybushed, it's got strut brace, then we've put the Team Dynamics wheels on it, so it's on bigger tyres, bigger grippier tyres. It should be on little 205s, it's on 215s, so they're not massive, but they're on 17-inch rims, and it's on Nankang NS2Rs, so they're a bit stickier. So that should be a lot of chassis improvements right there. Driving this car, let me just tell you, it's horrific. Honestly, I don't know how you can have such a small amount of feel in the chassis of any vehicle. It's unbelievable. It's like the steering wheel isn't even attached to the wheel. The steering is so light, and it does these weird pulses through the rack, because the rack's probably knackered. It could probably have another rack really, but when you're turning, you're getting no feedback. You know, like in most cars, you know, any sort of decent driver's car like the M4, or if you go to the extreme May 36 M3, but you can feel that bit of attachment as you turn in. You can feel the steering lighten up. You can feel it tracking the road. You can feel the bumps. This, you can feel nothing. And it's got these big soft squid seats. If you saw the dyno video, I think the guy at the dyno place, when he gets in it, goes, it's so squishy. I can tell he's very excited. I mean, this man, you know, he's probably never had a car quite this special to go on this dyno before.
It's so squishy.
Well, it's lovely and comfy when you're cruising around in your luxury Volvo. But again, you get no feedback through your backside, so you get no feedback anywhere. So it's a really weird car to drive. You're kind of driving it on, like, thinking, well, I'm pretty sure it'll have some grip. The other night I was out and a guy overtook me in just like a 420D, and I thought, we'll have it, not a chance. Well, I mean, maybe it would have, maybe it wouldn't, but I had zero feedback. So every time I was turning in, I was like, is it going to understeer into a ditch? Is it going to make it? Is it going to snap oversteer? I don't think it'll snap oversteer. It's too long and low and weird. But anyway, but since we've put this camber in, the steering feels actually quite a bit more positive. It feels quite a lot heavier. So I thought we'd go for a little drive, and I'll just talk through some of the amazing experience of driving this amazing vehicle. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention the performance back box. Well, I say performance. The exhaust as well. We've done them where we've had the back box out of it, and then it's slightly louder, and had a little tailpipe and everything fitted, which makes it my phone won't stick, which makes it just pretty quiet all the time. You feel it a little bit better at tick over, but then it seems to be absolutely standard sound until you get 70, where it's quite boomy and annoying. But anyway, right, we're coming down to a roundabout. Let's have a look. Down there, right. So we come into a roundabout in this car. Brakes are mediocre. I'm pretty sure they won't last long on a racetrack. Someone coming round there. It's a bit damp on this roundabout, but you go in and you're now like, what is going to happen? No one really knows. You put the car in. See, it's actually got quite a bit of grip, but you just can't feel it. In fact, to be honest, the steering, there is definitely more feedback now with that camber dialed in, which is good, because it couldn't have been less than before. I could actually feel it kind of load up a little bit then, which is actually the first time I've ever experienced that in this car, where you have a little bit of feedback from the steering wheel. It's actually pushing against you a bit, because it's so over assisted. I guess it's just designed for people to cruise along, you know, the old family with the kids and the dog and everything in the back. It's not really designed for steering feedback, but yeah, actually that was a bit better there. On a typical bit of bumpy Suffolk back road down here. As you can hear, it's quite crashy, but that's, you know, the trim squeaks, but that's because it's a million-year-old car. But the BCs are not actually horrific. They're, I mean, you guys probably know, like, the BCs, they're a budget coilover, but they're kind of renowned for being the best value for money coilovers that you can actually get. So I think they're about 800 quid for this car, and they're adjustable, they're height adjustable, and that includes the adjustable top mount, so we were able to adjust the camber in it. And if we get into the old corner or two here, and you see it does, as you push on, it actually feels, you know, the balance doesn't feel too bad, and the damping is often the case when you're running sort of stiffish suspension. Actually, the faster you go, the more it works, because at low speed it's too stiff and the car gets bounced more, whereas when it hits the bumps with a bit of pace, it seems to actually make the shock work. And then obviously the spring rates, see now there though, we're turning there and I'm a bit like, well, steering, what's happening? No real idea. lack of feedback through anything. It's really quite disconcerting. You feel totally detached from the car. It's a weird feeling. But the motor now, obviously my chip motor with its extra mid-range, yeah, it's a bit 90s, it's got the old 90s turbo lag, so up to sort of 2,500, you're like, oh, come on then, and then it gets going, comes on boost and starts wheel spinning, doesn't it? And I'm thinking, but yeah, actually we're making, it's wet there today, we're making bad progress. It's a peculiar car, and one that I think it was never designed as a driver's car in the first place, and we're trying to make it one. Yes, okay, they're racing the British touring cars, but I don't think they had much in common with the one you bought. And certainly not this 200,000 mile old one. But actually, I always think when you actually have a little go, it feels better than when you kind of think, oh, hang on, a little bit ABS. Oh, see there, we're doing a limit slip diff, just spinning the inside wheel on the exit there. But yeah, actually I do think that adding that bit of camber in has made quite a lot of difference. It's weighted the steering, it's taken that absolute zero feel out of the steering. I mean, it's still not always sure what it's going to do. I'd actually quite like, and I think we will at some point just for the crack, just do a few laps. Old Dave at Open Track has said if I want to take it round, when I'm up there with the BM, he's happy for me to do a few laps in it. So I might actually do that and just take it round and see, because until you're, when you're on a racetrack, you can push it till it understeers, oversteers, whatever, and you're relatively safe, whereas I don't really want to go understeering or oversteering into a ditch in the Suffolk countryside. I mean, I've got to get this thing around Germany yet. Oh, car's coming. And yeah, can be no fun if I crash it before I even start my road trip. So as soon as you try to go in the way, it is comedy. As my newfound amazing torque comes in, it just spins up. So yeah, I mean, in summary, I think we've improved this car a lot. I mean, it's difficult to compare it, obviously, when I got it, because it was on standard dampers that were 200,000 miles old, so it just, like I said, I didn't drive it much, but it was just horrific. But the thing that makes it so difficult is it's that you can't really read it. So say like my R26R, which I know are exceptionally good, but you could steer that on the throttle. You knew what that car was going to do. If you lifted off the throttle, it would tighten its line. It wouldn't go into snap lift off oversteer, but it would just tighten the line. And then once you got it past the apex, you could just drive it, and the old limited slip diff would pull it, and it would just hook up and pull itself out of corners. It was a fantastic thing. And like the E36, all right, that's rear wheel drive, but that again, you can balance it between the brake and the throttle and turn the car. But this, you're just like, I don't know really what's going to happen. But it is a lot better than it was, and the BCs, I think, for the money, it's not too crashy, it's not a rider that's knocking your teeth out, but it's controlling the body a bit, but it's still very difficult to know what's going to happen. But it's a laugh and it looks cool, so that's the main thing, right?